When constructing the outline for your base, remember that the protruding segments are 7 blocks across. Then create a 2-block indent and go across 8 blocks with your deep slate tile. After the outline is completed, create a small 4x4 in the center so you can start excavating your mine shaft. Dig as far as you would like. I chose to go to bedrock for this tutorial. When you reach your desired depth, branch off with a tunnel, place signs at the entrance, and alternate soul sand and magma blocks for the water elevator. For those that don't know, magma blocks pull you down and soul sand pushes you up, and they both allow you to breathe while in the water elevator so you don't drown. However, the tricky part is getting the water source blocks in there, otherwise the elevator won't work. You do that by placing water at the very top and let it flow all the way down. Then place kelp columns that go all the way to the top. Kelp turns the flowing water into water source blocks. Then fill in the floor of the base as shown to prepare for the next part. The trickiest part of the build for newer players is the redstone door. First, place the 3 sticky pistons on each side pointed inward and a lever in the specific spot. Then dig a little area beneath the base to place the redstone. Place the redstone beneath the lever and loop it around to this spot. Then place the repeaters facing in opposite directions on either side of the last piece of redstone. Follow this tricky arrangement of redstone torch placements and make sure to include the piece of soul sand right there. It has to be in this very specific order for it to work properly. The other side is a little more straightforward with the torches. After activating the lever to close the door, build up the walls on the outer edge of the outline by 5 blocks. Next, replace the blocks beneath the water with deep slate tiles to make it look nicer. Then replace the ground with this pattern of soul sand, dirt, sand, and water. This may seem a bit confusing, but it'll make more sense in a second. Use a netherite hoe to turn most of the dirt into farmland. If you don't have a netherite hoe yet, then that means you're bad at the game and you'll just have to use your diamond hoe. Plant carrots and potatoes in 2 of the corners. Then place pumpkins and melons in rows. And lastly, fill the rest of the farmland with wheat. The most important step is to make sure you don't plant beetroot to avoid damaging your property value. Plant your nether wart in these obvious locations, and then follow this pattern for sugarcane and cacti in the last 2 corners. Don't forget to place torches, otherwise crops won't be the only thing living in there. If you happen to have the resources for it, make supports with jungle logs and cover the outside with cocoa beans. It's more stuff to farm and it improves the feel of the level. Then place the signs to stop the water that you'll be placing in a second. If you haven't already broken the kelp from before, you can do the kelp trick again to continue the water. If not, that's okay because you have an infinite water source right next to you and you can just manually place all the water. On my Patreon, I do have the world download with all my base designs, including this one for just $4. Check it out if you want. Next, fill in the ceiling and build a 6-block tall wall. Craft some deep slate tile walls and put some of each animal in each corner. You can top off the walls with carpet so you can enter and exit the pens without any animals escaping. All the steps are optional technically, but it would be really cool if you had 6 armor stands and 1 for each kind of armor. Then, of course, you have to have a lava trash can, just in case you get any beetroot and you have to cleanse yourself of such filth. I'm not even going to explain the nether portal because I'm sure everyone knows how to make one. You can add stairs like I did to make it fancy. Then complete the floor with some torches, support beams, signs, more water, and fill in the ceiling. Start the next floor with 6-block tall walls, but don't mess it up like I did when I was recording. The first corner of this room can be a potion brewing area. The wall next to it is where you place a map. And you can also place these spruce fences for more design. As for the villager corner, do your best. I was able to cram in so many villagers using villager spawn eggs and trapdoors, but it's not that simple in survival. Then create the crafting and smelting corner, which has the 3 kind of furnaces: ender chests, anvils, grindstones, stone cutters, loom, cartography table, smithing table, and of course, a crafting table. I miscalculated the room I'd have on this floor, so I had to make do with building bookshelves into the wall. I tried to mask this using trapdoors, but don't do it because I found a solution later. Then place chests and barrels on the remaining walls to serve as your storage system. Do the rest of the maintenance, which includes making the pillars, adding signs, placing water, and filling in the ceiling. The last floor is different. Place 3-block tall pillars in these positions and line the outside with walls. It was at this point that I found the solution to the bookshelves issue. I realized that walls would make it look a lot cooler than trapdoors, so I placed walls up to 3 blocks high on each of the ledges. I realized that the bottom didn't look fortified properly, so I added another ring of blocks and placed another 3 high ring of walls. Once you've completed that nightmare, fill in more walls at the top surrounding the center room. If you're cool, use red beds for the bedroom, and you can also make it look more cozy using red carpet. The purpose of the chest is for respawn supplies. I include a respawn chest in every design I do. Then fill in the ceilings and place lanterns hanging by chains. In order to actually go onto the balconies, replace some of the walls with fences because they're skinnier. And there's one last thing. Make sure you have a half slab in the right spot so you can actually access the lever from the outside. See all my future designs by hitting subscribe.